for me, the fundamentals are uncomparable to anything that's out there. What the team is building, what the team is doing. I believe that in a couple of years from now, World Mobile will be a household name. And honestly, I will be proud to have been a part from it from the beginning.
And it goes a little something like this.
Welcome in a mobiler to the very first publicly ever released episode of Meet the Mobilers, a series here breaking down all of the key figures in the biggest voices within the world mobile community. We have a wonderful and an exciting special guest here who's contributed a lot, but I'm not going to jump the gun. I want to give the person that was able to actually secure this interview the opportunity to go ahead and bring her up ahead of our introduction. Now, before we get to that, I cannot do this by myself. As always, joined by Rob, aka Trekpool, as well as Cal, aka Clover Notes. Gentlemen, happy Saturday. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Awesome. Cal, how are you?
Another lovely day in paradise.
Let's go ahead and roll right on in. So, Cal, you've been a World Mobile Ambassador here. Obviously, you guys have been doing space as a part of the Alliance, and you've met a lot of people. And as a result, right, there's a very special person that you've been able to secure here for this first ever publicly released episode of Meet the Mobilers. So I'm not going to steal your thunder. The floor is all yours for today's introduction. Before we bring up the guest, go right ahead.
Thank you so much, Fareed. And that is absolutely correct. I talked to a lot of people online. I talked to a lot of mobilers, but this one is quite special. So we're excited to dive into the story behind one of the most passionate voices in the world mobile community, from a background in telecoms to becoming a very powerful advocate for WMTx on X. She's built a reputation for sharp insights, bold predictions, and a deep commitment, my apologies, to World Mobile's mission. So without further ado, I introduce you the WMTx lady.
Hi, guys. What an introduction. I'm very honored. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to join us here, WMTx lady. This, I think, is the first time that I'm seeing you here. I've seen a lot of your posts, as Cal has mentioned. He mentioned predictions. I haven't seen some of those, so I maybe would love to hear a little bit of that here as a part of today's interview. So without any further ado, Cal and Rob, go right ahead, gents.
Absolutely. I'm on a jump start here. So WMTx lady, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with the Web3 space and crypto?
Okay, so I'm not going to start by divulging my age, but I've been in the tech industry for almost 20 years now, so it's quite some time. After college, I started an internship at a French ICT integrator where I worked as a technical writer on large requests for proposals for the European Commissions. So the European Commission, they often publish requests for proposal where they outsource a lot of their ICT activities. So I wrote those proposals, and at that time I still needed to physically hand them in because you couldn't send them through to email. So we used to run the little truck, pump all the files in there, and then literally drop them off. So that was about 20 years ago. And then afterwards, I evolved more towards sales roles. So since 2013, I have my own consulting firm. and I manage sales team. I've been working at a large Japanese telecom integrator without divulging the name, but also other large ICT, mostly European tech players. And so how did I get involved with crypto? Ever since I was little, I always used to tell my mom, one day I'm going to live in the US. So it was always my dream. I grew up watching Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, seeing all of those movies and just being inspired by those movies. And so in 2013, I had someone who was investing in US real estate. So I come from a family that is very entrepreneurial. My grandparents, they had their own electricity and plumbing company just after World War II. And my parents, they also were entrepreneurs in the construction industry. So that was really something that I grew up in. And so I did for 2 years. I worked in the tech industry, and at the same time, I started my own LLC in Michigan, in the US. But combining those two jobs was extremely difficult. So I used to leave like Friday night, come back Monday morning at 5 a.m. and then start my day at 9. So it was very, 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 very difficult. So by the end of 2017, I went like, okay, let me try this and let me move to the US. So I went to the US Embassy to get an investor visa for 2 years. And then you have to present like your business plan and prove that you can provide your own financial means. And so I got accepted. And for 2 years, I moved to the US, to Detroit, outskirts of Detroit, where I tried to like revolutionize a bit the construction industry based with tech. And when I arrived there, I reached out to the city council. They had programs for investors. And there is someone named Dan Gilbert. Probably he's well known for you guys, but he's the owner of Cleveland Cavaliers. He's an investor, and he has a lot of tech startups. So they kind of showed me around. And I got in contact with those guys, and we started talking. And they one night started talking about smart contracts and Ethereum and everything that was happening. And me, myself, I kind of like dipped my toes into Bitcoin in 2013, but it was more kind of a day trading game. And it kind of stopped there. But when I heard smart contract decentralization, the fact that things were going to be programmable, I went home, opened Twitter at the time, and just started snooping around, reading about a lot of things, and bumped into Cardano, the famous video of Charles Hoskinson. I think it's the pond, the island, and the ocean, if I'm remembering correctly. And that kind of like blew my mind. And I went like, okay, there is something new happening. There's something new that is being built. And I like the philosophy behind it. So that's how I got involved into crypto late 2018, mostly in Cardano ecosystem.
So what brought you to World Mobile? How did you find out about it? What drew you in and made you want to be a part of what World Mobile is building and be a part of the community?
Mm-hmm. So when I came back from the US in 2019, I worked for a unicorn startup. I did sales in Europe, Asia, Dubai, and Africa. So I traveled a lot. And I remember going to Kenya, Nairobi. We did a large deal with a bank called KCB. And I remember arriving there, and people were very digitally native. They even have a digital coin called M-Pesa. So everybody had a smartphone, and they were already like interacting. But from the moment you left Nairobi, like people themselves, they said we're like being cut off of opportunity, because due to the fact that we do not have connectivity in rural villages. So I was very well aware that it was a fundamental problem, that people were unconnected and underserved. And so like I said, I have been involved in the Cardano ecosystem. And I remember early 2022, summer 2022, the buzz came out about the Aerostat being launched, and things going on in Zanzibar. And so the end of 2022, I was invited to speak at a conference for C-level executives, people that were not really crypto savvy, but that wanted to know and learn more about it. So the guy that I knew that was organizing it went like, okay, I want to give you 30 minutes to speak about a topic. And I just went over the list and the other speakers, and they were all really cool stuff, but it was metaverse and NFTs. And so I was like, okay, what I'm going to present during those 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, maybe we need to like show people what the real potential of crypto is. And so I presented World Mobile during 30 minutes. Beforehand, I really did a deep dive into World Mobile and the business. And I remember like giving that speech, and afterwards there's always like a little drink where people can come and ask you questions. And the number of people that came up to me and they were like, wow, we didn't know that this is being built in the crypto world. We really didn't even know that this existed. I went like, okay, this is something different. This is something that's really impacting something. This is really something that's driving real world adoption. And from that moment on, from where beforehand I was a little bit like diving in a little bit, I went like, okay, maybe now I'm going to be a maxi. I don't like that term, but I'm gonna go 100% for it. And so ever since then, I've been really passionate about the project and what they're building, and the growth since then is just staggering. Yeah.
So now that you've been in World Mobile for a while, seeing what they're doing, obviously being very vocal about it, what are a few things that are happening right now that have you most excited?
There's a lot. I mean, every day, every AMA, I'm just like blown away about where the project is going. For me, this is much larger than a connectivity play. And I think that we've seen that with the most recent announcements of 51 nodes, of PwC also building on World Mobile Chain. So what I'm most excited about right now is really seeing the usage coming on chain. Really seeing those numbers popping up. I think that what Mickey said a couple of months ago, that we're taking the crypto world by storm, I think that's really what's going to happen. Once these numbers are going to come out, daily active usage, revenue, I think that everybody's going to go like, okay, what is going on here? Right now, it feels a little bit like it's the best kept secret in the crypto world, because we're not very present yet on the tier 1 listings, but I believe that is coming.
So then you're very entrepreneurial, like you've said, you come from a family with that kind of a history, and clearly you're extremely intelligent. You are extremely driven and focused, and you're making a lot of things happen. I'm kind of in awe of everything you're saying right now. I'm curious, and maybe this is a bit more of a your personal part of World Mobile, but do you right now are you operating anything infrastructure wise, like earth nodes, air nodes? Do you plan on doing that in the future if you're not doing it right now?
I plan on doing that in the future. The complexity for me behind it is that I want to operate it from a company point of view. And tax-wise, once World Mobile arrives in Europe, it's going to facilitate a lot more things for me in my current activity than doing it in my personal name. But I 100% plan to do it. I'm very excited once things can go live and can go popping off in Europe. I'm excited to see where that goes. Yeah.
I must add to this, your extensive work experience has also blown me away. I mean, you have sales experience, you live the American dream, even though it was only for 2 years. You were still here and you got to experience everything the United States offers. You are a mobile or maxi, which to me is an excellent thing. So considering your broad understanding, with your work experience, it's really easy to understand why you were drawn to World Mobile. You obviously get it, and it also sounds like you have a background in telecoms. So how does that shape your perspective with World Mobile approach to connectivity?
World Mobile is really, really unique in the way it's set up. I see a lot of different things happening. One of the things that struck me the most, though, was in one of the latest AMAs when Mickey stated, like, World Mobile is very complementary to the existing telecom industry. It's not really a competitive model. And I also see that in the current industry. Most people don't know that, but oftentimes there are a lot of joint ventures being created between different telecom companies where they reunite forces just because it makes sense from an economic point of view. So for me, on the one side, it's very complementary, but on the other side, it's like light years ahead. I remember one telecom operator, They just wanted to switch out their billing system, a billing system that was just very siloed, legacy built. And for them to switch out that billing system during over a year, there were people being cut off of service. There were people being overbilled. There were people no longer being billed. They lost tens and thousands of customers. So what the issue is that a lot of telecom operators are still using outdated legacy systems that require a lot of OPEX and so a lot of costs to maintain those systems. Whereas World Mobile is really constructed with a blockchain tech. I think that Mickey even stated that it's 12 times more cost efficient than compared to other operators. So these elements kind of combined for me that World Mobile is better positioned to address the explosion of data usage that we're going to see in terms of streaming, in terms of gaming. There are a lot of studies that show that even with Wi-Fi 6, new technologies arriving, that you're going to have an explosion of data usage. And with World Mobile Chain, what they are building, the scalability, not only in terms of connectivity, but also I saw for decentralized energy, for example, I think that they're very well positioned. And then maybe lastly, I remember one of my first posts that you liked, Cal, was on Starlink. People tend to compare the sharing economy model compared to a centralized economy model. And that is really the uniqueness of World Mobile and what they are building. So it's really community owned and operated. You have a lot of the revenue flowing back to the community. I kind of explained it to my parents. They're 72 and 73. Maybe they're the oldest World Mobile community members, but they immediately got it. It's like Airbnb. It's like if Airbnb did a drop twice a month for you for apartments to invest in. It's kind of crazy, but we're at that point. So it really lowers the level of entry for people to be part of that sharing economy, and that is really like a uniqueness that you don't have anywhere in the crypto market.
Well said there. Well said. For the first time ever, anyone can actually invest in telecoms through World Mobile, which again blows our minds over here. And you've explained it really, really well. So I am not surprised that your parents just simply get it, because listening to you right now, I'm like, okay, this WMTx lady, she knows what she's talking about. And this is why I love when I see your ex posts. It brings a smile to my face, because you have built a very, very strong following on X, and you've been an excellent advocate for World Mobile. So kudos for that. How do you think the community voices like yours kind of impact the awareness around World Mobile and around the community of World Mobile?
Yeah, I'm not only that passionate about World Mobile on X. Last Christmas, I even made a Christmas sweater, so people know what the topic was going to be at the Christmas party, even though probably this year I need to get a new one. The colors have changed. But for me, it's really about being prepared of the future, and it's kind of something that I like to think about. On the one hand, we have the arrival of AI. With AI, the question poses itself, like, is AI going to make workers more efficient, or is it going to completely replace segments of the workforce? And so you really have to think, okay, what is the next economic model going to be? And I love books of Ray Dalio, and Ray Dalio always states that cycles of debt, they create new monetary systems and new economic models. And I believe that models that are going to be community operated, that are going to be decentralized, like the one that World Mobile is building, like the one that they stated on World Mobile Chain, maybe decentralized energy grids are going to be built. Everything is maybe going to be more community powered and community operated. In a world where everything is being so transformative, I feel like the last 2 to 3 years, we have seen such an acceleration in terms of tech and adoption and everything that's going on. You really have to prepare yourself and think about, okay, what is the future going to be like tomorrow? And that's a little bit why I share my posts. I know that the most popular ones are probably my price posts, but they're not to hype up or not to sell someone something. But it's really for me to like be able to grasp what they are building and how you value something like this. I believe that in a couple of years, maybe some Wall Street guys, they will like sit down and be like, okay, how do you value a project like this? And that is something that is so important to me. And people kind of like don't grasp often what is built. They kind of like see the short-term price and they get frustrated around it. But I believe that you need to see it more long-term. I remember a shareholder letter that Bezos posted early 2000 when he went like, look, guys, the market is crap, it's not good, but our sales have been increasing, we've been having more customers, like the fundamentals are good, and the market will adjust to that. And that is something that I believe in. And I believe that we as a community, but also you guys, I listen to you every week. I love the AMAs. I love how the community also stands for something. Okay, like Mickey said, sometimes you have the keyboard warriors that from behind their computer love to talk about certain things about World Mobile, but no other project is building like the way World Mobile is building.
I think that's a good transition point for something that you've alluded to that you're famous for is predictions on what World Mobile is doing based on what they're building. And I mean, you've talked a lot about your own companies working signing deals with big corporations, banks, agencies, things like that. So you have a lot of experience in the corporate realm, seeing what business valuations look like, seeing how those things come about, and how to maybe assess those. You've also talked about, you read Ray Dalio, one of the most famous investors of our time, very, very outspoken, very, very popular person. As far as people give him a lot of credit, they follow him, and so having all this personal experience, having all this education and this study, and then looking at World Mobile, maybe not from a specific token price prediction, but more of a business valuation. You know, you refer to Amazon and Jeff Bezos, and how even when the market was crap, hey, the fundamentals are good. What are the fundamentals that you see with World Mobile that you believe they can build something upon that's going to maybe launch them up value wise, the business valuation, token price, sharing economy? What do you see there that you really like?
I think that one thing is very, very key. It's real world adoption. I think that Mickey spoke about, okay, when we have 10, 20, 30 million customers, we're going to have a sustainable model. And I believe that that is going to be very, very crucial for us to get out of bull bear market perception. We need to create that own model. And I believe that that is going to be key for us to get out of it. Next to that, we need exposure. We need tier 1 listings. But for that, we're probably going to need mainnet to go live. Not know all the specifics, but probably that's going to be key. But I believe that real world adoption is at the end is what drives the valuation models. And so World Mobile is positioned like no other project is positioned. So at the one end, you have like the decentralized telecom part of it, but at the other hand, you also have still the World Mobile chain on itself. When you have PwC building identity services on it for here in Europe to be used, when you have other project partners like 51 Nodes building on World Mobile chain, you have WMTx that's going to be the lifeblood of the system, that's going to have to act as the gas fee. So all of these things are going to create a certain need for adoption of WMTx. And probably all of those things combined are going to lead to a valuation. Now, in the latest AMA, what I was very excited about was Mickey talking about a revenue dashboard maybe coming live in the future. So once you have all of these elements, I really believe that you can build in valuation models. But maybe in the future there's maybe going to be an ETF specialized in deepin, where a lot of institutions are going to come in and going to be like, okay, we want to be a part of this. So that also can drive a lot of valuation increase in the token value.
I wanted to bring up a thread that you posted a while back, and there was some discussions back and forth going on X, and people always, still to this day, excuse me, still to this day, ask me the question: is Starlink a competitor to World Mobile? And when I saw this thread, I had to bookmark it, and I've been sending it privately to a lot of different people that come to me and ask me that question, because I feel like you did a really, really good job of explaining how World Mobile will utilize Starlink as a backhaul, and how actually Starlink is not a direct competitor to World Mobile, but more of a partner in a sense. So do you mind going and breaking down this threat a little bit for us here?
Yeah, I get that question also a lot. And what I do is I send people the link to the North Carolina documentary. I think that a real world use case explains it better than everything. But I think that there's a couple of different angles. The goal of World Mobile is to empower communities to take charge of their right to have connectivity, to own and operate it, where Starlink is still a centralized model. You also have technical limitation. I think that that was also well explained in North Carolina, where, okay, you can set up Starlink, but in order to set up Starlink, okay, you have one hand a very extremely premium pricing point. And on the other hand, with World Mobile, you can have the air nodes that make Starlink also more efficient. So for me, it's a very, once again, complementary play, where there's a synergy that can be created between both models. But fundamentally, Starlink is still a company that is VC owned, VC operated, where in order to invest in Starlink, you have to participate in active investor rounds. Starlink, for the moment, I think that they have about 4 to 5 million paying customers. I remember a couple of months ago that I was checking it. WMTx is the World Mobile is currently at 2 million. Starlink is valued at 88 billion in the last round, just to give some ballpark figures. So I believe that there's a lot of room to grow for WMTx. And what is so unique at this project is that I'm sitting here at the other side of the world, and we can both invest in this project that is impacting lives daily of people in Africa, in Asia, in the US. And the fact that you can invest in it that's also what makes the project very unique to me. Whereas Starlink, okay, it's reserved for people that have access to investor rounds.
So earlier on, great answer, by the way. Earlier on, Rod did ask you if you have any plans to be involved with World Mobile when it comes to owning EarthNode or running some infrastructure. So I wanted to ask you, how do you see World Mobile evolving over the next few years? And what role do you hope to play in that journey?
Well, first of all, people know my DMs are always open. I get a lot of questions from a lot of people. I try to answer as much as I can. So even for the AMAs, I know that not everybody has the time or the opportunity to listen into them. So I try to make a little bit of summary of them and get some spelling check on them, because English is my third language. So sometimes I tend to make some spelling errors. So yeah, you have that part where I do my small part. I create my Twitter post, and I'm there for the community. Like I stated, in the future, I hope to be able to operate some air nodes, and who knows, maybe with Hex Guardians, it can offer some possibilities to participate in that. And yeah, for the rest, I'm just trying to help out.
And I wanted to add here, because I know the World Mobile team will see this video. Once World Mobile expands to Europe, I think you would make a very good candidate for a Hex Guardian out in Europe with your experience.
Thank you.
Another thing that would be very interesting is we've seen them do this in countries as well, but when they when they expand into a certain area or certain country, they get dedicated regional ambassadors who are able to kind of spearhead the world mobile movement locally. And I think that with your qualifications, your experience, and your overall knowledge of things, you'd make an excellent part of that team as well.
Thank you. Would love to.
We're kind of volunteering work for you, and
Yeah.
also putting the onus on World Mobile to highlight you as well. So we're kind
Okay.
of making it, telling other people to go do work.
I am genuinely surprised that you're not actually a part of the World Mobile team, given your experience, your background, and your solid understanding of telecoms. I'm surprised that they haven't caught wind. So maybe this interview, I think, will let them sort of see a different side of you that I can definitely say I didn't realize, right? So I'm definitely going to be keen on keeping a closer eye on your X and all of your posts moving forward, because you've brought a ton of substance here. WMTx lady, again, thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I think that goes a lot to where we're at right now as a community. This is one of the reasons why we harp so much on why we love in-person meetups, why we love doing these live streams as opposed to simply just posting and kind of staying more anonymous in the background, is because when we first started the alliance, it was because Cal and I and a few others met in person, and we were able to say, hey, we're all doing these things together, we're all doing these things, let's do them together. And then we find what everyone's strengths are, and we've seen a lot of opportunities evolve and build because of those things that we do. And I remember when we started the alliance, and we got to know people like BB, and we got to know others within the community that we're able to interact with a lot more in person, and that really has expanded a lot of opportunities, I feel, for a lot of people. And so I think that's what's great about doing shows like this, doing in-person events and meetups, is that we have the opportunity to meet people, find out what their strengths are. Are they just some anonymous poster, some keyboard warrior like Mickey was talking about, who don't really offer much, or are these people who are absolutely legitimate experts in their fields, people that we were able to grow with. I mean, look, for example, at Christian Reese. Mickey met him at Rare Evo in Denver in 2023, found out that Christian lived in Reno, and Mickey said, hey, we're deploying in Reno, do you want to help out? And now Christian is one of the most important faces we have for the World Mobile team, because of all the in real life deployment that he's done. And so having the opportunities to meet you, to hear you, and now you're more than someone who makes really wise postings, somebody who does some price predictions, somebody who is an anonymous avatar. And it opens a lot of eyes and opens a lot of doors, I think, having opportunities like this. So I'm very, very thankful that you're here and that we have the chance just to meet you and know you and talk to you a little bit in person.
Absolutely my pleasure. But you guys are doing an absolutely amazing job also. Every night when I go home, the first thing I do is check my Twitter, just like checking up on all the latest news. And every Saturday, mostly I'm at the gym, so I'm on the Stairmaster listening to you guys talk. So yeah, it's really a great experience, and you also sense that in the community. I feel there are a lot of people that are involved, just because there's a willingness to have another model, and they sense the potential of the project, and that's what's really cool. Is that's not just about price, and okay, that's maybe one aspect of it, because you invest not to lose money, of course, but there's also some willingness. It's more about participating in a project that's about value, fairness, that is offering opportunities to everybody around the world. That is really what this project is all about.
I love what you said there, offering opportunities around the world of people, and this is what I also believe World Mobile is all about, just allowing people for the first time ever to invest in telecommunication networks, and actually even possibly through the Hex Guardian program start your own mini networks on top of World Mobile. So you've said some really, really good things there, and there is always new community members coming to World Mobile. What advice would you give the new community members just discovering World Mobile and wanting to get involved with WMTx?
I would say tune into the AMAs. I'm always so impressed when I hear the team that's behind World Mobile. World Mobile. I remember I like to research a project and the people behind it, and the team that is behind World Mobile is just world class. So for me, tuning into the EMAs, listening to their vision, listening to what is being built, I'm always saying that's really a gateway, and that's always why I make the summaries of the AMAs. I have a lot of people in the ends going like, "Okay, thank you, that was great. I didn't know that was happening." So that's a little bit what I try to do. But I would say, yeah, just tune in into the EMAs, following you guys every Saturday with all the latest on World Mobile. I think that's really important.
All right. So, same question, but not for the community. If you could say one thing, one piece of advice, one suggestion, one question for the World Mobile team, for Mickey, for Charles, for Emmanuel,
Oh,
what would you say to the World Mobile co-founders?
what I would like to say, and then maybe my question will derive from it. What I would like to say is how impressed really that I am. I remember discovering crypto because I was on the lookout for something else, for a different philosophy. And I see that World Mobile is really carrying out that philosophy. And the team really stands for that. So that is my core message to them. And maybe in terms of question, yeah, just maybe get a little bit inside their minds and see what their roadmap is. Because, like I stated, we're only thinking about connectivity, but I'm starting to get a little feel that they have a lot of plans the next 2 to 3 years. So, if I could get maybe a little of that information in their mind, I think that would be really cool.
All right, it's been such a pleasure having you here at WMTx, lady, and we've learned so much from your expos throughout the months here, and we always enjoy them. So, I wanted to ask, as what are you most excited about next? Whether that's a product update or a specific event that World Mobile is going to be attending, or maybe community initiatives that are coming up. What are you looking for next?
I think the phone plant's going live in the US. I saw some pictures of it, having your phone stating World Mobile in the top right corner. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that it's imminent, the release of it, but I know that a lot of people are excited for that. So yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to. Even though unfortunately here in Europe I have to wait, maybe I have to travel to the US to see it, even though I can get maybe some eSIMs. But seeing it go live in the US, yeah, and also the expansion of the plans next to it. I know that there was talk about adding broadband. I mean, it's just going to be great to see that evolution.
Not only would that be a great excuse, right, for you to fly back over to the US, but if you time it just right, we could potentially get to shake your hand with the upcoming Rare Evo event. So, again, I
Okay.
think that could be a 2-in-1 where the Alliance will be hosting and providing a lot of content for the community. But then also, I believe, right, and gentlemen, feel free to correct me, we're going to have key members from the team. Last year, we had James Tag. Of course, Mickey was there. And so if you haven't gotten the opportunity to meet all those gentlemen from the team, that could also be an opportunity or a reason, right, why you may want to come to the US, not just for the phone plans, but for the event and to also get to meet the community. So, Rob, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, my question was kind of in that same vein is after this interview, how do we connect with you? Obviously, you mentioned, the DMs are open, you're online on X, but do you plan on attending any in-person events such as Rare Evo or conferences in Europe? Um, do you Are you open to coming on future live streams again with the Alliance, whether here with the YouTube or on our X Spaces? When do we get to interact with you moving forward?
Live streams would absolutely be my pleasure. So absolutely, no problem. In terms of conferences, I wanted to be at Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but probably, yeah, some European conferences, or who knows, Rare Evo. I have to check my agenda if I can make it. But yeah, definitely, maybe connecting in real life. That will be really cool.
All right. And I think I have the honor of just tossing this back over to you, WMTx Lady. We've covered a lot. Your early beginnings, very humble, your growing presence on X. You've talked about your personal, you talked about how you've come into World Mobile, sort of where you are. And again, just want to thank you, right, for your contributions here. So in closing, your final thoughts and takeaways. Is there anything that we skipped that you want for the community to know? How can they get in contact with you? Of course, I'll leave the link to your X down below. But this time is, your opportunity to sort of just close this out.
Yeah, maybe as a closing word, I read a proverb today. It's an African proverb that goes like, it's the tree that's falling down that makes the most sound, but the forest that's growing behind it doesn't make the most sound. And people were drawing a parallel to the crypto world, because nowadays what's making the most sound is the meme coins, the casino coins, the rug pulls, the scams, but the true building is being done in the background. And for me, that is still vital. Like I said, for me, the fundamentals are uncomparable to anything that's out there. What the team is building, what the team is doing. I believe that in a couple of years from now, World Mobile will be a household name. And honestly, I will be proud to have been a part from it from the beginning. So that will be my closing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the WMTx Lady. I'm too excited here. My brain is working faster than my mouth is. Just want to say thank you so much. This has been enlightening for me. For you, the viewer, if this was not enough for you guys to give her a follow, I don't know what will be. A lot of substance here, a lot of facts, and a lot of threads that I need to go back and dive into, because again, after hearing you speak and hearing your experience, I realize that you're much more closely connected to this ecosystem, this community, this project than I personally realized. And so again, thank you for your contributions here. Cal, aka Clover Notes, thank you for securing this particular interview. Rob, as always, thank you for also helping to carry me throughout this interview, but also posing wonderful questions. Again, WMTx Lady, her official information will be left down below, but this will wrap it up here again for the first ever publicly available episode of the Meet the Mobilers series here, breaking down and giving you guys a glimpse behind the community that's driving World Mobile. If you want to get involved with the Alliance, the official links are down below. If you have been excited, if you just learn anything about World Mobile, you want to maybe contribute, right? Or even share this experience here with your grandparents, just as the WMTx Lady has. Feel free to check out the links down below. If you want to become an operator, whether that's air nodes, earth nodes, etc., all the links are down below. This has been an amazing kickoff here. Again, I want to thank you all for your time. And that'll do it here for today's interview. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you.